Hello, Chiefs Kingdom, and welcome to the Arrowhead Kingdom CHIEFScast, live from the MKE, where we will be talking Chiefs and all things NFL. I am Chris.
And I'm Josh, and today we're going to be talking about some players that are in the NFL. And a big reminder that all Chiefs fans are invited to join us for game day. Visit us at arrowheadkingdom.org to learn more about the group and to find your local chapter. But please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel and keep up with everything we're doing.
Today we'll be talking Chiefs with our producer extraordinaire, Brian Reynolds. Brian, how's it going?
Oh, doing amazing. Great day. Good weather. Big fan.
Absolutely. Are we still calling him Andy Richter-esque, or is he just Andy Richter now, or is Andy Richter Brian Reynolds-esque?
He could be Andy Reynolds-esque. How about that?
Andy Reynolds. Okay. Good
Yeah.
stuff. Good stuff. So no guests today, but we are, as always, presented by Complete Weddings and Events, your leading provider of photo, video, DJ, photo booth, lighting, and coordination services. Visit them at completewedo.com. All right, so we are talking about some players in the NFL, and in particular, we're going to go back to the Aaron Rodgers well. We're going to talk about Julio Jones, and we're going to talk about Tim Tebow. So what do those three have in common aside from being in the NFL? Well, the first two appear to be either on the move or they want to be on the move. And the third one is in the league, shockingly, after a very, long hiatus in broadcasting and baseball. So, Chris, I'll let you pick. Which of those three do you want to start with?
Oh, let's get Tebow out of the way.
I love how you put that. We're getting Tebow out of the way. So you can't come in with that comment and not just tell us, what do you really think about this situation with him on the Jags?
Well, I don't know. I've actually never actually shared an opinion about Tim Tebow with anybody. When I think about it, I've definitely heard plenty of them. I do find it a bit comical that the comment made by Urban Meyer is that he's going to be a Taysom Hill-like piece in their offense, which, in order for him to be Taysom Hill, he needs to throw the ball longer than 20 yards down the field. So we'll see how that works. But
so quick interruption here. Has Urban Meyer officially come out on the record and said that, or is it still just, a source within the organization, which you would think is him?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just, when I caught that, that was the first thing I thought was, no. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think the guy loves attention. I don't doubt that he's probably a good guy, but as a football player, I mean, this is probably a move he should have made a long time ago. I mean, I always thought he would be pretty awesome as a linebacker, actually, given his just his ferocity, and I think he would totally lay out some guys. But I mean, for him to, when was the last time he took an NFL snap? I can't remember. It's been a long time. So now he's going to step back
8 or 9 years
in.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is like pre-Andy Reid, because it was before Peyton Manning got there. But yeah, I don't know. One guy made a really good comment, and I can't remember who the interviewee was, that there may be something to it on how him in the spotlight may actually take some pressure off of Trevor Lawrence, because the lead news story isn't always going to be all eyes on Trevor Lawrence. It's going to be, what is Tim Tebow doing today? What did Tim Tebow eat for breakfast? So there may be something to that, but do I think he's actually going to produce on the field and really give the Jaguars anything as, what I would consider to be a tight end production, maybe a dozen catches and as an effective blocker? I have to see it to believe it.
So do you think he makes the roster?
I'd have to look at the rest of the roster and see what they have at tight end, because I actually don't know.
Okay. Brian, what are your thoughts on Tim Tebow?
Well, Jaguars went 1-15 last season. Tell me I'm wrong. And they so you have the Trevor Lawrence situation going on, and they went 1-15. So I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, a lot of name brands, a lot of stuff coming out of the gate. They are obviously. I'm not going to take away from Tim Tebow's athletic ability, but this really gets headlines, doesn't it? Jets ain't getting the kind of headlines that this is getting, are they? This is one of, dare I say it, this is a headlines grab. And putting Tim Tebow in a situation where, like, don't get me wrong, athletic as hell, in a situation he's never been in before as at tight end. But I feel like this is one of those things that gets buzz going around the Jaguars are doing. And it's left to be seen, obviously, because we don't know how it's going to play out. For all we know, it's going to be like an amazing situation. But this just seems like one of those marketing plays that it's just like, this is getting headlines. It's a name brand person, a person we all know from. I mean, he played baseball for the. He played minor league baseball for the Mets, their farm team, and his first swing or his first at bat, didn't he hit a home run? Right? Tell me, I think that's right.
He did, but here's a big context. He earned his way. I'm going to throw out that he earned his way. I truly believe he earned his way to AA. He box officed his way to AAA, and he never actually got into the show, but he was invited to the major league camps and everything like that. So, he's a good athlete. I think that's undeniable.
He is a competitor.
He's also a draw.
Yeah, he's a draw. He's a name brand. I mean, people like him. So when I say like, I see more of a marketing play here. What could go wrong? If we went 1-15 last year, now we're like, okay, well, he's an athlete. His conditioning is good. He went through the preconditioning situation with the owners, and he performed at the level they expect. I assume. I mean, I didn't watch any tape or anything, but I assume they wouldn't throw money at somebody like that who was like not performing at a level that is acceptable. So like, I see name, I see acceptance in terms of numbers and time and speed. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. And what do we have to lose? What exactly do we have to lose? We're not going to go.
Nothing.
We're not going to go 10-7. I don't think we're going 10-7. But you know what? We're gonna have a name. We're gonna have a draw. We're gonna have someone to root for. We're gonna have some excitement. We have the first round draft pick with the quarterback. We have a name brand tight end that he can throw to, along with the other weapons they have going on. So this sounds like a lot of fun as far as I'm concerned.
All right, so let's throw a couple things out of here. So first of all, the financial risk here is pretty much next to nothing because he's getting the standard issue vets minimum, completely unguaranteed. He could get cut tomorrow and probably get 1-2 week paycheck. Same amount of time since we've recorded together, as we worked out before we hit record. So it is a pretty low risk type of thing. Let's kind of keep this conversation going a little longer. So let's assume that there is a heavy dose of marketing going on in this, which I agree. And, Shad Khan, I believe, has a better branding mind than he gets credit for. Just his whole trying to get his tentacles into the UK market, which, I mean, the conversation with Brit Chief, we talked a lot about how the Jags have a pretty big hold in the UK. And if there was a team that has the most fans, it's still the conglomeration, but they really do have a growing hold over there. We also talked about potentially having a franchise in London, and we kind of agreed that that's not a good idea. But Shad Khan has obviously gotten things out, and so let's just assume for a second that this is the idea that he has. So let's walk through, Brian, you as a digital promoter and just a marketer in general. If this was your campaign to run, how does this go? How does it end? Does it end? And literally, where do we go from here? And let's kind of look at the milestones of, we're in the off season. The NFL has gotten as good as any organization on the planet of keeping itself daily and weekly relevant, even though there's nothing going on. And this is another great example. But so where does this go when we're thinking of the off season, into the preseason, into the regular season? So, but fire away. What are you thinking? What would you do if this was your campaign to run?
Well, we have a player in Tim Tebow who wears his faith on his sleeve. I think 60% of America is the same kind of comparison with where he's aligned. So there's a lot of that. in terms of, I mean, and quite frankly, that's the controversy, quote unquote controversy around him, if that counts as a controversy. Like, the worst you're going to get is him like speaking from the shooting from the hip of how his faith and how he believes in it. So, which is quite frankly not that's a soft target. It's like, okay, he's saying nice things, biblical thing. Okay, fine, I can absorb that. In terms of that, like, it's like the wholesome value, it's a wholesome experience in terms of what you're going to get from him. But okay, at the end of the day, from off season to preseason, when you get to the game, it doesn't matter how many touchdowns are you scoring, what are your numbers. That is what people pay attention to. What are the wins, what are the losses? Like when I say what I just said about like his faith and everything, fine, we can use that. People like that. That gives you like that kind of factor. But at the end of the day, this is sports. This is what are you producing? And that's what we want to see. That's what we want to. So in the preseason, I mean, that's what they're going to be paying attention to. What kind of like Lawrence throwing to you, and what kind of numbers are you putting out there? But at this time in the off season, it's just all like talking about what he's done in the past, what he did in his college time, and what he did with the Broncos, and he was a meme for a while there. We can talk about that all day, all night. We can talk about his Super Bowl commercial. That's what it all is. But that is going to be a lost thought. No one's gonna be thinking about that as soon as he catches his first pass from Trevor Lawrence. That'll be a foregone conclusion. Because what kind of things are you doing? What it's just so you know, you catch and your runs after the catch, yards after catch. They want to focus on that. What are you doing? Are you and then if you're an athlete like that, when we look at Kelsey, obviously he puts out the numbers. He is a competitor and he like produces on ways that we're used to. And if you can compare him to like the other tight ends in the league in terms of production, that's at the end of the day, it's just all numbers. So but up until then, it's just going to be talking about his demeanor in the press, how he's talked about in the press and all that. But once the first snap happens and they throw to him, all that's like a side note. It's just what are you doing? So the preseason is going to be very interesting and see what he does. I have a lot of confidence that he'll do a good job because he just is a monster, and I'm sure he'll do just fine. I don't know in terms of like playoff level talent. We'll see. That's left to be seen. But I know that he will. A competitor like that who is achieving a high level like him, I'm sure he'll do just fine.
So what I'm hearing from you is that you think that he certainly goes into preseason. He proves his point and he makes the NFL roster.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
Well, here's the guys that he's up against. I just got the roster in front of me. So at tight end, they have Tyler Davis, second-year tight end. Never heard of him. Ben Ellefson, second-year tight end. Never heard of him. Luke Farrell, a rookie that they just drafted out of Ohio State. Chris Manhertz, a 6-year tight end that I never heard of. And then this will ring a little bit.
O'Shag Hennessy.
That's right. James O'Shaughnessy is still there. So, that's who he's up against. I mean, so there is a chance, I guess, he can make the roster. But yeah, I don't know. There is this, I think, a 15-second clip on YouTube. If you've seen this, it's the only pass that's been thrown to Tim Tebow in the NFL when he was a Jet. And I think Mark Sanchez threw the ball up around kind of his neck head area, and Tim Tebow just kind of flinched, and the ball sailed by him. But that's the only tape that but I don't know. Just based on what I'm seeing on the roster, sure, he's got a chance.
I mean, Mark Sanchez, sometime within the 12 months of throwing that pass, also fumbled the ball off of a lineman's butt. So let's keep that in mind too. So
what better not be talking smack on my Jets. You guys leave my Jets alone.
What drink did you almost spit out there? What are we drinking tonight?
That was one of my higher quality crafts right there. So
nice.
Half Acre, if you are
Chicago
breweries, that's my favorite.
I remember watching that.
What are you having? Daisy Cutter or is it Double Daisy?
No, this is one called Beer Hates Astronauts, but nice. Daisy Cutter is my go-to though.
Oh, Daisy Cutter is phenomenal. That's a great pale ale, so Half Acre. Yeah, you got to go down into Illinois to get it. Usually the good peace offering is.
Oh no, I get it right over here. I can get it in 12-pack. The liquor store in my neighborhood
Where's your name? Oh,
on
okay.
Downer Avenue. Yeah.
We'll talk about this offline because I
Oh
need to
yeah.
I need to get a hold of some Daisy Cutter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Brian,
It's never in short supply over here.
Brian, what are you drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking my Tito's and cranberry.
Nice. I'm drinking Happy Place, which is a Milwaukee microbrew. They don't
Yes.
sponsor us, but it would be cool if they did. And actually, that's probably somebody that we could call.
Yeah.
So anyway, so let's talk a little bit more about Chicago breweries. This is a sidetrack I'm kind of interested in. Have you been to the Lagunitas Brewery down there?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so Lagunitas is one of the things that I'm loving about this whole craft beer thing that we have, and this could have been my final take, but I've got something else. Something that I'm loving about the craft beer thing is you've all of a sudden started to see these just beautiful, awesome, pristine, high capacity, highly automated beer manufacturing facilities that pop up, and Lagunitas is a great example of a microbrewery that kind of made their way. They had a ton of money and then built a new facility in Chicago. Highly worth checking out. Definitely a good one. The other one that I would say that I would consider pretty much the granddaddy of everything that I'm talking about right now, Sierra Nevada's facility in Asheville, North Carolina. Do not go to Asheville, North Carolina without going in that building. That is an
Sierra
awesome
Nevada is phenomenal
building.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sierra Nevada deserves every single accolade they have. Those guys.
I went to a bar in Reno, and they had like at least a dozen different Sierra Nevada taps. It was just awesome.
So the coolest thing I've ever seen, I went to the original Sierra Nevada in Chico. I was out there for my cousin's wedding, and they had this. It was like their World of Beer tour, and it was co-op brews with 12 different breweries, and it was literally like a list of my favorite stuff to drink at that point. I can't remember who all they have because it's been a while, but they had founders, they had like people all over the place. It was great. It was just all these beer co-ops. But anyway, so Tim Tebow, to kind of get back to things, there really might be some level of legitimacy for having him go and take a spot. I'm kind of I'd say aligned somewhere in the middle of both of you guys. I don't think it's a lock that he makes the roster. I think he has a chance to, but the only way that I see this from a messaging and a marketing thing standpoint goes south is if there's somebody who he's directly blamed for taking the roster spot from, and he knocks a fringe player out, and it doesn't even really matter what position they're at, and they go on to be picked up by another team and borderline or actually make a Pro Bowl. That would be a pretty bad look. But outside of that, I mean, as long as Urban Meyer keeps his house clean on the inside, it really doesn't matter what anybody from the media thinks. There's a whole thing of, you're going to be taking Trevor Lawrence off the field and blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's no reason to believe that's actually what's going to happen. Even if they come out and run it in preseason, that would be a regular season package. So, I think it's interesting. And the marketing guy in me, I think, kind of goes where Brian is. It's like, you got to control more headlines than you deserve. I mean, the Jaguars have zero right to headlines right now, outside of Trevor Lawrence, which after the draft happened, you have zero right to headlines. I mean, you don't. You're basically an irrelevant franchise. I mean, let's just be honest about that here. You went 1-15. You're not interesting. Everybody thought you were going to move to England or LA, and here we are. But they've managed to be the lead, along with some of the other things that are happening with great players. Like, let's segue right into the reigning NFL MVP Aaron Rodgers. So we talked about this in a pretty extended terms over our 4-hour and 15-minute draft day live stream that we did, which is still up. So check that out if you haven't seen it. But we talked about him quite a bit with a bunch of different Packer fans. And this just seems like it's the story that isn't going to die. Because I'll just start out by saying I don't see a world where the Packers actually trade him. And so I think that this is, literally walking towards the line in the sand. But I'd definitely love to hear your take, Chris, and we'll figure out where we're going to go with this conversation.
Yeah, it's not going to die because Aaron Rodgers won't let it die. I mean, that whole thing he did with Kenny Mayne, talk about throwing gas on the fire.
Which is hilarious, by the way.
No, it is. And I mean, it speaks to a lot of what you said about Mark Murphy. And I guess the GM is who he really seems to have a beef with. But
sure.
No, I can't see him going anywhere either. I mean, I think, the Broncos have been tied a lot to possibly being a landing spot for him, and then the Raiders, but it's just kind of like, what would it take to get him away from the Packers? I guess that's one thing actually I never really thought too much about.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be really mortgaging the future of your franchise. I would almost have to bet you probably, I don't know if you'd have to actually give up a pro also in the trade, but
I certainly think you would have to.
Which rarely happens, but it could actually happen where you actually have a player involved in a trade for him.
Yeah, what I think is interesting is these same Mark Murphy, Brian Gutekunst that won't just hat in hand publicly apologize to him. Do you think those guys are going to be fun at the negotiating table when you're trying to negotiate a trade? It's like you don't even have enough pride to publicly make amends with the NFL MVP, so now you're going to get fleeced by the Broncos who, are run really well.
Yes. John Elway is doing a great job.
Yeah. I mean, I guess his fiance, Shailene Woodley, lives in Boulder, which I didn't know that. I always just assumed that she lived in LA because that's where people that have her profession live.
Yeah.
LA is where you're supposed to be, but supposedly she lives in Boulder. I question, why would he want to go to the Broncos if not to just get out of Green Bay?
No, I mean, they have a defense. They've got receivers. I mean, Cortland Sutton is going to be back. You got Jerry Jeudy. There would actually be something there. Now, is it better than the Packers?
I don't think
it may
so.
be net neutral. I think. I think that the one thing that the Broncos can't live up to that the Packers can is the offensive line. But other than that, I don't know. But he's not going anywhere. I mean, I really believe that he's not.
Ryan, what are your thoughts on this? I know that you've been preparing a take for this on weeks. I feel like you wish that this is an episode of What Up With That, where we would go into a big song montage and I would come back and be like, all right, Brian Reynolds, we out of time.
As long as Jason Sudeikis is wearing a jerry curl and he's doing dance in a jumpsuit in the back. Yes.
By the way, that Ted Lasso show is hilarious, by the way.
Oh, yes.
If you have not seen that yet, you need to watch that. That's a great show.
I mean, the original video, he came out, and this is when NBC was trying to promote their new broadcast rights with the Premier League, and that whole just intro video is like, this is Ted Lasso. I'd like to see the Queen. I'm the new coach for the Tottenham Hotspurs. All just going through with his assistant. He's like, all right, kick it in the ball, get 3 points.
Well, I watched the first 2 free episodes on Apple TV and I got hooked and I had to buy the new streaming service from them. So I'm like, now on that streaming service, but because of that show. So back to Aaron Rodgers though. I mean, every time I think about discussions like this, I think about he's the MVP. It reminds me of imagine being employee of the month. And then it's the last week of the month and they're like, hey, we got to talk about your job performance. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Pull the photo over here. Like, who's this guy? I'm the employee of the month of this month. And you're talking about me and my job. And pardon me if I don't take you seriously right now. I think you're just doing shit right now. I'm just I'm not taking you seriously. But the amount of feet, the feat that is to become the MVP of the NFL, obviously that is just a mountain one must climb. And to be in this discussion is how is it? I mean, I'm sure it is, but it's just an embarrassment every day. It's every day. Yeah. What is this? Like, I don't know. Is there like a beef going on that I don't know about that's personal? I don't know. Maybe there is, but just figure it out because clearly Rodgers is producing what is expected. Green Bay loves Rodgers. I mean, I know you guys probably, I assume you guys know this, but the few friends I have that are not associated with you who are from Wisconsin love Aaron Rodgers. Just figure it out. But it's like, I mean, what what more do I have to do? Like I mean, lest I win a Super Bowl. If I won the Super Bowl, would we still be having this conversation? Would we be still being all mad about it? Like, well, what's going on right now? Like, oh, that's what I have to do. MVP and Super Bowl. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that I'm not hitting the numbers that you need to hit. Jesus, I think you guys are being unfair. Dare I say you're being unfair? I don't know. I just think I don't know why this is even a conversation. Do what he wants, get it done, and let's move on. That's me, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a total spite tour by him right now because
absolutely. But I mean, he's dealt with that.
Yeah, no, I mean it's interesting because he bet on himself last year, and what did he do? He put up one of the greatest seasons in NFL history. You know, if you look at the numbers, so yeah, he wants more money. I don't doubt that. And then, I mean, how could the optics of drafting Jordan Love the way they did? One, it was apparent there wasn't good communication between Rodgers and the front office. There was
none.
That was in the cards. And then they trade up to get Jordan Love too. I mean, that's just I don't blame Aaron Rodgers for feeling the way that he does.
Have you watched any of Colin Cowherd's last 2 days?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so throw this out about Colin Cowherd again. So he had Alex Smith on, and there's about a 6.5 minute video of Alex Smith sitting in his studio in LA, and Alex Smith is just like, "Oh hell yeah, the Chiefs told me they were going to draft Patrick Mahomes. We talked about it a dozen times before the draft came up. He's like, brought him in. He's a good dude, and he's like, you can tell from day one that he was special. It's like you could tell." Yep. And then meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers didn't know. But Colin Cowherd's whole thing was Alex Smith is a nice guy. He's the friend that you tell everything, and Aaron Rodgers is the guy who's prickly and you don't want to catch him on a bad day, so you don't say anything to him, and he kind of finds out how he finds out. Now
he's kind of like Michael Jordan in a way. It's like, say if the Bulls had drafted, I don't know, let's say LeBron James or Kobe Bryant, and then they Michael had no idea.
-4.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know, Michael's expected to bring this guy along. I mean,
yeah, exactly. It would have been like drafting a Kobe Bryant or like a Dwayne Wade or something like that. Somebody to come in and play his exact same position, you know, and
to be his heir apparent, and he's got to actually bring him along, you know.
Exactly. But even if all that stuff is true, still it's just like, Packers, grow the F up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mark Murphy's a little kid, you know, he's sitting there playing the part of owner, and I would love to just sit in a meeting where you have the 31 owners and Mark Murphy and just see how that guy's treated and see how he tries to like play in that room. That would be fascinating to me. It would be like when you're at your office and you go to the all employee meeting. I just picture him as like the dummy that you have that always has a stupid question to ask when you're all trying to get out of there at the end. It's just like, guys, this is butted up against lunch. You don't need to ask.
Yeah, Jerry Jones asking him to shut up.
Exactly. You don't need to ask the VP GM like what their HR strategy is for the next 10 years at the end of the meeting. That's how I picture Mark Murphy.
My HR strategy.
Exactly.
This is the onboarding strategy we have for 10 years. And thank God we know that.
First of all, we're not answering that question if you ask it, but hey, good question there, Mark. You know, we'll let you know when we need you in a committee meeting or whatever. So
okay, we're gonna get him like we're not gonna get him the tumblers. We're gonna get him those bottles that have like you put fruit in it, have water coming.
Exactly,
that's the HR strategy. That's stuff.
Yeah. Hey, Mark. So why don't you go head up the drinking fountain and stadiums compliance committee? Okay. We got a broom closet down in the by the front desk that you can do that.
You can go tag team him with Snyder. You guys can go ahead and do that together.
Yeah, exactly. But speaking of which, and this is the thing that I was going to say, let's just say that theoretically Aaron Rodgers does move and you could pick any team that would be a good fit, is there a better fit than the Washington football team?
The 49ers, but he's not going to go there.
Yeah, okay, but the 49ers just drafted a quarterback and they still have Jimmy
No, I
Garoppolo.
know.
Those guys have a
That's why it's
plan
off
at that
off the
position,
table,
but
yeah.
like
Didn't
Washington
draft
football
Rodgers.
team, Washington football team doesn't have a plan at quarterback unless there's some sort of like under the table deal between the drinking fountain compliance committee that we just laid out that happened in said broom closet, where there's going to be a post January 1 trade and Ron Rivera is going to bring in Aaron Rodgers to run his offense. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I like the Broncos still more for him than the Washington football team, just because I think they have more offensively. I mean, I don't know if Washington has anybody to throw to other than Terry McLaurin, but
I have a better answer.
yeah, go for it.
Listen to me.
please.
The New York Jets. Baby. Give me the Jets. Aaron Rodgers to the Jets.
Brett Favre went there. It would make sense, right?
Yeah, Favre.
Yeah.
Go to the Jets and then the Vikings when Kirk Cousins is out after next season.
That's right.
That would be hilarious, by the way.
He takes the same tour that Favre did.
Yeah, another interesting one would be going to the Saints.
Yeah,
that would obviously be interesting. Or
Well, that's true. Yeah.
let's get really wild here. Let's trade just malfeasance for discontent and straight up Deshaun Watson for Aaron Rodgers.
Well, Deshaun Watson might not even play this year, so
Yeah,
he's talking
Deshaun
about getting fleeced.
Deshaun
Yeah.
Watson might be in the Texas Penal League.
Yeah.
we might get to do a live remake of The Longest Yard.
Yes.
Oh, you play
He's
for
gonna-
Kansas State? Oh, for Bill Snyder?
Bill Snyder,
Nah,
yeah.
Kansas State prison.
Yeah. Well, it's like on a Major League where they go to Rick Vaughn. It's like, oh, where do I throw a ton? Where you been playing? California Penal League mainly. Oh God. All right. So Aaron Rodgers, any other comments before we quit
Big
this
fan.
sideshow?
Congrats on
And-
being MVP.
Yeah,
Congrats on that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Good job on Jeopardy, bud.
That's very hard to do. We all know that's very difficult.
Again, I really hope he gets the Jeopardy job. I think that'd be
Actually,
awesome.
that would be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool. All right, so Julio Jones.
Mhm.
I think that he's obviously moving. I don't think there's a question at this point.
Oh, yeah.
I think that he's obviously moving. I mean, the Falcons, it seems like they've kind of kicked the tires on.
Well, they have to
doing
move
that
him
like
because they
every
can't
other-
afford to keep him.
Well, exactly, but it seems
Yeah.
like they've been kind of kicking the tires on that. So, what are the destinations for him? I'll tell you the one that I think is the most fascinating. Pull up a TikTok video of AJ Brown from the Titans trying to get him. AJ Brown's a dork, which is awesome. It's hilarious. You watch him on this video and it's just like, dude, you're a dork. It kind of reminded me of the scene on Pulp Fiction where they get cleaned up by Harvey Keitel's character, the Wolf, after they, and then they put him in Quentin Tarantino's clothes. It's just like, you guys
Santa
look like
Cruz, banana slugs.
yeah. It's like, you guys look like a couple of dorks. They're like, we're wearing your clothes. What are you talking about?
What do they look like to you? They look like dorks.
They look like dorks. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, so Titans would obviously be a fascinating fit. Not a team I'd want to be seeing in the playoffs again if they pull that off.
Well, yeah, and what the Patriots I think are mentioned as well.
The Patriots are mentioned.
But yeah, I wonder how much football he has. He probably still has a lot left in the tank. I mean, I think the only thing that's really held him back has been injuries. But
Yeah.
that price tag that he carries, I mean, he's got to go to a team, I think, that has the cap space that can actually facilitate him. Because I think literally he has to be moved just so the Falcons can sign their draft picks. I mean, that's the cap hell that the Falcons are in right now. Let me look here and over the cap. Yeah, they have
I'm bringing that up as well.
$337,000 in cap space right now. And they would gain, let's see, his cap number is 23 million, 15 guaranteed. But I mean,
Good Lord.
yeah.
Good
So,
Lord, that's a lot of money.
Yep.
All right, so
But,
effective
yeah.
cap space. I mean, Jacksonville has it.
They do.
Jacksonville, the Jets, the Bengals, the Browns.
Yep.
I mean, every single one of the we'll
Yeah.
say we'll throw out
The
the
Falcons
Chargers.
are third from the bottom.
We'll throw out the Chargers and the Broncos as well, because every single one of those places has
The
effectively
Chargers would make sense, I think.
they have
depending on what
15
they can
million
give up,
plus. Yeah, they have 50. Every single one of those teams that I just mentioned has 15 million plus in effective cap space. The Patriots have 12, which I would say any place that has 10 or more, you would think there's a path to getting there. So the ones with 10 or more, starting at the bottom,
Yeah.
Cardinals at 10.6, Colts at 12.1, Panthers at 10.3. I don't know why those were in that order. Patriots at 12.5, Washington at almost 14, Niners at just over 10, Lions at 13, Broncos at 15, Chargers at almost 16, Browns at almost 18, Bengals at just over 16, Jets at 17.5, Jags at 29 million.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to get high draft picks back and recoup getting every single penny off the books, and you're a team that doesn't want to, get themselves in a bad position. I mean,
No,
Julio
it's got to be a
Jones.
team that's fairly close. Like, it wouldn't make sense for the
Browns.
Jaguars.
The Browns are gonna get him, aren't they? Is it gonna be the Browns?
Oh yeah, him and Odell Beckham Jr. Would that be?
It's gonna be the Browns, isn't it?
I mean, I'm kind of with Chris. I think that Chargers fit's really intriguing. I sincerely hope it doesn't happen, but
Yeah, I think if there was a team that he could go to and win that could afford him, just based on the list that you named off,
Yeah.
LA would probably make the most sense.
I mean, it's there, and then it's the Patriots getting creative and making it happen. I mean, the Colts seem like they have a pretty quick path to that as well, and Ballard getting him the throw for
which that would make sense
throw
too.
to
I mean,
from,
I can't think of who else. I don't know if Paris Campbell is worth his P to drop, but I mean, Y.A. Tilton, Y.A. Tilton,
T.Y. Hilton,
T.Y. Hilton. Wow.
YouTube Hilton.
YouTube Hilton. But yeah, the Colts would make sense too.
Yep. So yeah, we have 6.8 in cap space. How do we have $6.8 million in cap space?
I think Patrick Mahomes decided his contract just pay me in bonuses.
I think the restructure had a lot.
The
to do
one
with
complete pass bonus, which is worth $20 million.
That's true. That's true. But still, it's just
you threw one complete pass.
That's true. I mean, we all know the moves that they made. We've talked about that in pretty great detail here. But yeah, that's crazy. Veach is a wizard.
He is.
Veach is a wizard. I mean,
and our players are committed. We have players committed to the process, and we have it's a wizard plus people who know, like they have every reason to believe, like, I mean, from an actor, like a performer standpoint, that's like, I have every reason to believe you're gonna screw me over, but like, no, you're not gonna screw me over. Like, no, everyone's committed to the same process. They're aligned. They are aligned. That's
yeah. If you want to talk about just the team culture, like wall to wall, we've got as good a one as you can get.
Oh yeah,
good a one as you can get. I mean, we got a great culture. So all right. So let's just play a theoretical situation. Let's just say that the moves that could create the most interesting situation in the NFL landscape happen. So let's say we have Tim Tebow makes the Pro Bowl as a tight end. This is all theoretical. So we have Tim Tebow making the Pro Bowl as a tight end. We have the Denver Broncos picking up Aaron Rodgers. And then let's just say that the Chargers pick up Julio Jones. So what are we looking at next year, aside from we need to flex every single AFC West game into prime time now?
Well, I think if Tim Tebow is going to make the Pro Bowl, it's going to be maybe as a special teams ace. I mean, I could
That
see
wasn't
him
what I
fly
said,
down the
Chris, and you
field,
know it. We
No,
said
I
that he
know.
made it as a tight end.
But no, the one that scares me the most would be Rodgers to the Broncos. I mean, that that would definitely even the playing field a bit. I don't know by how much, but the Broncos still have a top 10 defense. So I really don't want that to happen.
See, I don't know. That Julio Jones to get balls chucked at him by Justin Herbert, I think I like that less, honestly.
We drop two of the Chargers in. That happens.
Yeah, I really like that less. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think we still won the division regardless of any of these things happening, including both of them. You know,
I don't know. If Tim Tebow makes the Pro Bowl, I think we're in trouble. But
well, if Tim Tebow makes the Pro Bowl, I think we're talking about the Jags as a playoff team. You know, most likely a wild
or
card.
it's or not.
1 to
if
15.
he's one of their best players. Yeah.
Wow, what a turnaround.
Well, but
Yeah.
Anything that guy can't do? Jesus.
yeah. So anyway, all right. So you think that if Tebow ends up being one of their best players, that he's the pity?
It's not a good thing.
That he's a pity Pro Bowl addition for the Jags.
Yeah.
Because every team has to send somebody.
Right.
So
Tebow meme has to come back. Let's do it. Please,
that's what I was gonna say. Are we gonna
Yeah.
be Tebowing again this
That's
year?
right.
Is
Well,
that
once
still
you,
gonna be a thing?
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Get down on one knee.
Wow, what a
and,
throwback that one was. There's gotta be a new Tebow meme.
yeah, that was 9 years ago at least. 'Cause,
Oh, it was over 10 years ago.
Manning started there in what, 12? So
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, it has been over 10 years.
Oh my god.
Remember when South Park did the whole thing about memeing or whatever? They had
Killing.
Taylor Swifting and
Annoying, yeah.
we have Cartman in here, Taylor Swifting, and they were planking and all of that stuff.
Planking.
Okay, so which of those things were the worst? Was planking the worst? Was Tebowing
Owling.
the worst?
Owling was like forced. It was like it was more forced than that scene from 27 Dresses where they sang Benny and the Jets.
Okay, so I didn't watch that movie and I didn't see Owling. So explain both of these things to us in great detail.
Okay, so you know how like a lot of great movies have like a fun sing-along moment, a lot of like
like Almost Famous where they sing Tiny Dancer.
Tiny Dancer, yes, or Top Gun where they sing "You Never Close Your Eyes." Yeah,
anymore.
Yeah, okay. Movies, they have a great moment like that where it just kind of happens and we all like recreate it. But 27 Dresses had that thing and they force fed us Benny and the Jets. And I remember watching that with Tanya and I was like, arms crossed. I'm like, no, I'm not singing along to this. You're making me do that. This is not organic. This is not organic. And I was ready to throw my television out
Catherine Heigl doesn't know who Elton John is.
You just okay. Okay. You watch that.
She's too busy fighting with Judd Apatow about over a really good movie.
Josh, just watch that with Misty and tell me if I'm wrong because I think you'll agree with me. But yeah, just like the Benny and Jet scene from 27 Dresses. I wanted to like. I mean, this is back when I think Tanya and I were actually fairly new to dating, and I wasn't big in rom-coms. But I remember watching that. I'm like, this is not how this is supposed to go. And I was ready to kill somebody.
Nice. Okay, so I'll check that out.
I have a very strong opinion about that scene from 27 Dresses.
I had no idea. I'd never seen this side of you.
You know what? No one's ever asked me, but it's been seething, it's been blistering, and I'm glad we had this conversation.
Did we just have a therapy session? We just had a breakthrough.
I think we just had a breakthrough.
Brian's time has come finally.
This is like the South Park where Butters goes to Hawaii. You find out that he's Hawaiian, he gets his discount card, which is hilarious. And then at the very end, he's like, I think I've just been wound up because I've been mad about Ben Affleck. Argo's a really good movie. It is a really good movie, by the way.
It is. I think it's the only movie I like with Ben Affleck in it. But yeah.
Did you ever see the movie Company Man?
No.
That one's really good. So that situation, it's basically about 2008 when everybody was getting laid off. And so it's got Tommy Lee Jones, it's got Craig T. Nelson, it's got Ben Affleck, and it's got Chris Cooper, and they all work for this company that's like a luxury liner manufacturer. And so they're selling to the places like the Royal Caribbeans of the world. And so Craig T. Nelson's the CEO. Tommy Lee Jones is the ranking sales guy. Chris Cooper is the dude who's got like all the big accounts that have run forever. And Ben Affleck is like the ace young hotshot like sales guy on the rise, and then the world has the bottom fall out of it, and shockingly there's not a whole lot of luxury liners being purchased, and so it's going through like all of them getting like laid off and everything. And Ben Affleck is who I would say is probably the main character if I had to pick one, but he ends up like living in his in-law's house, and he's working for Kevin Costner, who's like his brother-in-law, who's a contractor. It's a really good movie. It's a really good movie.
Company man.
Yeah.
I like how on Instagram they have like top 10 movies for entrepreneurs, and Boiler Room's on there. And I remember Ben Affleck in that film. But you know what's also on there is Wolf of Wall Street. I'm like, no, that's a terrible film for entrepreneurs, because that guy was a scam artist. He was like a terrible person. I don't think this is an entrepreneurial movie.
He was a stone cold entrepreneur. You can't deny that. I mean, while we're at it, let's throw the movie.
What are you talking? Okay,
let's throw the
defend
movie.
Defend this. Okay, I'm ready to fight. Go.
Let's throw the movie American Gangster on there. Denzel.
No. Hold on. No, stop. You stop. I want to know about what I just said about what's it called, Wolf of Wall Street. Why is that an entrepreneurial movie? Tell me I'm wrong.
No, so the guy took major risks at the very beginning. So what I think that he did is he went to a dark place. He got himself beyond a point where he could stop himself, and it was a level of like fear and arrogance combined that stopped him from preventing himself to getting as far on one side as he did. But if you watch the first half of that movie, he is a rags to riches success story. And a lot of it is about taking calculated risks.
He admits to being a scammer, though. He admits to being like a con artist in the film. He does.
Yeah, but I don't think that he is at the very beginning. He turns into one, and it happens, fairly quickly. But
they spend their money better than they do. They don't deserve it. Like that's like a line from the film. Okay, I don't know, man. I'm just telling you. Like, I'm not dogging on his sales ability. I watched actually another video of him like doing his sales shtick, and it's actually very, very good. But maybe, I mean, I'm not gonna lie about like maybe he got caught up in it, but like in terms of entrepreneur, like okay, maybe like an entrepreneur that is like on the level. maybe that we should be more that kind of specific about it.
Sure. So what other movies are on this list? Bring that list up. I want to talk through this list of movies.
I don't have it on me, but I can repeat it. Like The Founder, that McDonald's story with Michael Keaton.
That movie is fantastic.
I watched it like 10 times. It's spectacular.
Fantastic. I mean, there's a shady side of him too.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, he had to do the thing with like turning into a real estate company, but it was legal. But yeah, he was a piece of POS for doing that.
It's one of those. He was making an omelet and he cracked an egg, and it was he cracked an egg.
And I guess what they said, the handshake deal with like getting a piece of the McDonald's thing, and they never followed through that. That also like a bad taste in one's mouth, which I'm also about that. But
taking a franchise owner's wife, yeah.
Oh, they also they just kind of like, that's like a side like 5-second story, like, oh, that's not good. Like, oh well, we're not talking about his fidelity, we're talking about his ability to like close a deal with a business. But right, that's also not good. Gosh, what else was on there? I would have to send that to you. Moneyball was on there, which I don't
love
know
that movie.
I love that too. Yeah, also a good one. What else is on there? I mean, God, Boiler Room was on there, which is not exactly. I mean, the guy, I thought it was more of an entrepreneur movie when he ran a casino out of his apartment, more than him doing like the Boiler Room antics and doing sales over the phone. Like this is all like sales over the phone, what we're talking about. But him running a casino out of that was more of like, his own like skill set doing that, even though that was illegal.
So I think I have the list here. So 10 movies speaking to the spirit of an entrepreneur. From March 29th of 2021.
Yeah, sure. Let's see what happens.
Okay, so Steve Jobs, the 2015 movie, is on there. The Founder's number 2. The Inventor is number 3, which by the way,
Steve Jobs. My pushback into the Steve Jobs one, like he's a marketer. He wasn't like the Wozniak guy who created the stuff that happens. Which, by the way, you can make all the amazing things in the world. If you can't package it and market it and put it to the world, that makes it like anything interesting. It doesn't matter.
Right, Bill Gates is the best because he did both.
I'm sorry.
Bill Gates is the best because he did both. He's right. The guy he did both. Exactly. So Hitsville, the making of Motown, that looks cool. Social Network. I love that movie, by the way.
I like that film. That's a good one. Yeah.
So
Me
have you
too,
read
yeah.
any of the stuff by the guy who wrote the book that they made that movie screenplay off of?
I did not know.
Okay, so his name's Ben
No,
Mesrick.
me either.
Ben Mesrick. So he wrote the book that they based 21 on, which was the Kevin Spacey movie where they're counting cards in Vegas. So that book is called Bringing Down the House. He wrote
I've seen that one.
yeah, so he wrote The Social Network, and I think that's what the book was actually called. But my absolute favorite book that he wrote is called Ugly Americans, and it's about a guy who was part of building like an oil exchange in Dubai. And so it's talking about a guy who grew up Jewish in New York, and it's like a handful of years after the ground zero 9/11, and he's flying over to the Middle East to broker deals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's an interesting movie. So let's see.
By the way, I remember. Okay, so I work for a startup, and I once asked them, like, when you look at Google, when you look at Facebook, and I work with very talented kind of software programmers, and like, is what they're doing, is it really that advanced? And they're like, it is, but anyone who knows what they're doing can do it. And I always thought that was interesting because they were first to it, which is powerful in its own right.
It's important.
But they were like, yeah, we can do that, but we're too late. So it's already been done, and we can't really do much about it. But yeah, it's whenever I see like programmers talking about the amazing things of Google and Facebook and all these amazing things, I'm like, okay, you're not wrong. But any programmer's like, well, I know what they're doing, I know how they did it, but it's been done, so we can't exactly move in on it. We have to move our own, do the other thing. So it's more of like, if you get the skill set, it's more of like a get there first kind of situation, which is like that with any business, right? It's like who can get there first. But I will never forget that. They're like, yeah, no, it's really not that hard to duplicate. Anyone who knows what we can do, they can do it. So but I just hate when people put like these things on such high pedestals. Like, talk to any software programmer, they can do it. We're too late to the game.
Well, so I'll throw two things out. So I think that you just kind of built Steve Jobs up a little bit. I'll just throw that out there. But the other thing that I'll say, it kind of reminds you of just think about music. And I know that Brian's a talented musician. He plays the drums, he plays the piano and stuff like that. And I remember one specific time. I was listening to Brad Paisley's album, Time Well Wasted, which is the one that has alcohol on it. It's one of my 5 favorite albums of all time. But he's got this guitar solo called, God, what the hell is it called? I don't remember at this point. So I'll look that up. But he's got this long guitar solo. And I remember playing it thinking that it was really awesome. And I remember you saying that Phil, this dude that you used to jam and play in a band with, was like, well, yeah, he could play that. And it's like, yeah, he can play it, because he knows his way around the fretboard on a guitar. He can play any scale, just listening to it, but he did not write that solo.
Right.
And that's what makes Brad Paisley.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing.
Time warp is what it's called.
That's the difference between being like a Brad Paisley, who I would assume was like 27 at the time, versus Phil, who's probably 17 or 18 at the time. And yeah, it's like a first of the party kind of situation. But okay, yeah, I guess from a technical, I guess the argument is like, if it's like, well, the technical standpoint from this, I'm like, well, it can be done. A teenager could do that. However, how much fun is the song? How much enjoyable is it? Repeatable and play it. And if you're on a pontoon on a lake and I want to hear a jam, like, yeah, Phil can play that, but I want to have a drink. I want to drink beer and like party. Like that's its own thing. And that back to the Steve Jobs thing, that's how you market and package a thing, versus like, yeah, they can do that, but how do you turn that into a marketable product that sells and people use? So that's like kind of like, that's like a lot of distance between what I did over here versus over here. Like right here is where a lot of stuff happens.
I mean, some of it's recognizing when you have something you can revolutionize with.
No, it's underwear gnomes. Like, collect underwear, question mark, profits. Well, what happens here? Well, a lot of shit happens right here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my musical comparison is there's not a Green Day or Nirvana song that I couldn't play on guitar when I was, fairly well practiced, but I am not Kurt Cobain, and I am not
right. Yeah. So that's like that would always, I mean, marketers, it's always like that's a fun process. Like, yeah, a lot of people can do this, but how do you make it like so popular and so amazing? Like, it's not seems like they're so close together, but there's a lot of stuff going on.
You have no idea how much is there. Yeah.
I mean, and sometimes even the people who put it together don't know. It caught fire and they ran with it and they figured it out as they went. And I'm like, I mean, that's why it's fun. Like, that's why I'm always like, it's a numbers game. Just keep going until you figure something catches and you go.
I mean, think about the iPod and the iPhone. I mean, to be able to recognize that if you just took a hard drive that's that tall and made it to where you could dump music off of a web-based platform really easily, that you would take over the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, like nothing that we just talked about was that hard. I mean, setting up manufacturing in China, people do that all day. There's somebody doing it right now.
And anyone who says like I saw this coming, like you're a liar. No,
yeah, but it's all
no. I had to store music. That's as far as I got with this.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know the next step after
exactly.
that.
Well, and it's like that scene on Moneyball where they're sitting in Chris Pratt's living room to get him to play first base. Yeah. And he's just sitting there going like, "Yeah, we're gonna get you to play first base." Scott Hatterberg. He's like, "We're gonna get you to play first base." He's like,
"He's a catcher." Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, I'm a catcher. I don't play first base." He's like, "Playing first base isn't hard. Tell him Wash." And it's Ron Washington, and he's just like, "It's incredibly hard." He's like, "Yeah, anything worth doing is." I mean,
yeah, we'll figure.
That's what I imagine when you're sitting there spitballing, talking about something like the iPod.
Okay, can you stop a ball? Can you throw it? We'll figure it out after that.
Exactly. But it's just you're sitting around brainstorming. It's just like, all right, putting a bunch of music on a hard drive isn't hard, and the engineers are like, it's incredibly hard. It's like, yeah, anything worth doing is, and we're gonna do that. It's
you get on base really well. We want you to take walks. That's what we want you to do, is get on the goddamn base and just stop a ball and get an out. That's it. But we want you at bat. That's why we want you there. Yeah, but yeah, exactly. That's essentially it. Like, you have all the skills. Let's just mold that into what we need it to be. But yeah, it's essentially what a database. Like, yeah, it can store the stuff, but how do we make it do this into a situation that is useful and mobile? But yeah, people who say like they saw it coming, I'm like, I don't know if you did, but you can lean into it if you want. But I'm skeptical.
The brilliance is you create an interface that you can hand to a 2-year-old and they figure it out. That's the brilliance of what Apple did.
No, for sure. Yeah. So. And okay. Well then.
All right. Well, okay. So we've talked about how the AFC West could get hard. Talked about Tim Tebow, and Apple. I don't know that we really got anywhere on that one, honestly. But hey,
I put my foot on. I stamped I said he's going to make the squad, and I also said, I said, I think he's going to achieve. I think he has high expectations, and I think he will exceed those expectations. But we'll see. But he's just such a competitor and athlete, so I can't see him not doing that.
I think Tim Tebow will be the starting quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right, just stop it. We need to end this before we talk more about that. I was watching the First Things First this morning with Nick Wright, and they went on this weird thing where Brandon Marshall and one of the other guys started talking about Tim Tebow. And Nick Rice just like wound up about the entire thing. He's like, this is stupid. I don't understand this. And supposedly Brandon Jacobs, who was a running back for the Giants, has taken some serious exception to this whole thing. And he started putting out on Twitter, just like, oh, well, I haven't taken a snap in 9 years. I'm going to try out for defensive end. I've kept myself in good shape. And Brandon Marshall's just like, yeah, do it. You should do it. And they're encouraging it. And at the same time, he's sitting there pleading for Tim Tebow to come out, and he'll teach him how to like open his hips the correct way when he's running routes and stuff like that. And it's just like, we're talking about Tim Tebow doesn't know what to do with his hips when he's running routes. And we're talking about him making an NFL roster as somebody running routes. And then Nick Wright is all of a sudden just like, guys, I'm not participating in this anymore. It's like, nothing good's going to come out of me commenting on this.
I used to listen to Nick when he was on 610 back in Kansas City, man. He's awesome.
Yeah.
I did too. I remember listening to him on a drive time when We Are Mizzou.
What's Right with Nick Wright, yeah.
We Are Mizzou, that music video came out, and he was like ripping on it. It was the funniest thing ever.
It was Bob Fesco, yeah.
Coming from a Syracuse grad. All right, so final takes. By the way, I gotta say, I love that every single still shot like thumbnail that YouTube throws up. If we don't put up a thumbnail, I've got a beer out.
I've noticed that too.
Yeah. Apparently, I drink a lot on this show. I don't know. Somebody call Pat McAfee's agent and find out how we can get in on that, because
every time I scroll through, I'm like, you've got a beer can up to your mouth.
You know, we can put a custom image on there. We can totally put a custom
Yes.
image.
Brian, I'm
on
not telling you to fix this. I'm not. This is an observation.
if you text me like a note saying, Brian, I'm not feeling this, like, okay, but you have not done that yet. So, okay.
Yeah, that's how much I'm not feeling it. Yeah, I mean, hey, I think that if there's anything, we're all about being authentic here. And I mean, if I'm going to sit here and drink 3 third spaces, which is what's happening, by the way, I don't see why, you know, there wouldn't be a preview of me with a beer in my hand. God gave rock and roll to you.
All right. So we're doing final takes. Can I go?
Let's do final takes. Yeah.
Go for it, Brian.
All right. I'm going. Okay. All right. Today is May 28th, 2021. My nephew, Jace Wentling, just won the state Kansas 3A championship for long jump. And I just want to say congratulations, Jace. Yeah, that was very impressive. And he took third in state for the triple jump. And yeah, dude's a stud. He just competes very well. He's very athletic. He likes winning. He likes competing. And what can you say? Like he is, I think this year the only state champion that I'm aware of for Thomas More Prep Marion in Hayes, Kansas.
Shout out to Thomas More Prep Marion High School. We got to throw out that Marion High School thing on there. Brian and I's moms are going to pistol whip us for not bringing it up. But yeah, that is Brian and I's high school alma mater.
That's right. We graduated from there, and he is jumping at a Division I level, long jump.
Nice.
I ran the numbers. He's a little bit below the medium, but he is right there. So we'll see what happens. I know he likes to play baseball, and I know he's a really good wide receiver on the football team. But in terms of Division I level talent, he is right there. In terms of like the level that recruiters look for in terms of D1 levels. So I'm excited to see how this plays out. And he's a junior. So
I was just going to say, he's a junior. What's he looking at doing? Has he had people knocking on the door?
He is okay. His heart is in baseball as of this season. However, he is such a competitor, and he you know how it is. Like every season, like if I remember correctly, is like every season your heart's in that. Like I want to be a football player. I'm looking forward to that. Then like the basketball season starts. Like I'm all about that. And then like the baseball season starts. I'm like, oh, we're right there. And we're regional championships going to the state. And then like you win state and track. So it's like,
so is he playing baseball and track at TMP?
That's right. Yeah. He did baseball and track.
That's great. How's he pull that off? Cause
he loves baseball, and the coaches were like, he's so talented. I think between you and me, he only made it to like 4 track practices all season, and he won state. He won state
in triple jump, which is or long jump. I mean, that's all timing. That's crazy. I'm shocked at the special teams for track. I mean, I don't even remember what it was called. I ran the hurdles. But I'm shocked that the coaches let him do that. That's great.
That is exactly right. Like I'm shocked as well. I'm like, he was a baseball player, but he also had that going on. And as Josh and I would know, like going back to our years, like that would be just like that would be a no-go. But he puts up the numbers. He does what he does, and they're like, okay, yeah, you do what you do. And I think that his teammates are the same way. Like, yeah, he wants to play baseball. He loves doing it. He's a pitcher, and he bats on the top of the order. So he just wants to do it all. He wants to do it all. He actually has like his Letterman jacket. I think he has like, what's that honor where you have like 16 like letters or whatever. It's like a very like unique situation where you play like so many sports where it's like a rare air. So he's one of those.
And you letter every single year.
Yeah, and it's like from freshman to senior year, he's gonna have one of those letter jackets where it's like rare air level. I think it's 16. I'll have to get back to you on that, but they just let him do it, and he does a good job. It's not like he is snotty about it. He's very thankful, and but he delivers the numbers and he does a good job. So I'm looking forward to this next year. But congratulations, Jace Wendling, state long jump champion, 3A 2021 TMP.
I'm gonna raise the thing that you can't be drinking because your mom will smack you.
Right.
I know that for a fact.
Yeah. I see it though. I'm not saying anything to anybody.
Oh, I'm not saying anything either, but
I'm not gonna narc.
But yeah, his mom is a principal.
And Holy Family.
And this isn't a principal investor. This is a principal that will take you down and equalize you. And yeah,
she has a very strong character. She comes to party when it comes to that. So she does not take it lightly. So yeah, she's a good person though.
She comes to party. Yeah. Gotta love the Reynolds family. Gotta love the Reynolds family. But yeah, cheers to TMP MHS. Way to go, Jace. Chris, what do you got?
Yeah, so Katie Sowers. If you know who Katie Sowers is, you probably saw her on the Microsoft Surface commercials when she was in. Looks like she was an offensive assistant for the San Francisco 49ers. She was actually the first woman to coach in a Super Bowl for the 49ers when they lost to our Kansas City Chiefs. But the cool thing about Katie is apparently she's from Heston, Kansas, and went to the University of Central Missouri. So yeah, what's really cool is I'm going to read her Instagram post here, which our friends over at Arrowhead Pride posted. But what she said is, retired from coaching in the NFL? Nah, Kansas City, I'm home. Huge thanks to the Chiefs organization for believing in me and providing me another opportunity to grow my coaching experience while learning from the best in the game through the Bill Walsh Diversity Fellowship. So what she's ended up, the reason why she's on is due to the Bill Walsh Diversity Fellowship. And it's something I actually hadn't heard of until I found out that she ended up getting a fellowship with the Chiefs. But it's interesting in the fact that it's to use NFL clubs, training camps, off-season workout programs, and mini camps to give coaches an opportunity to observe, participate, gain experience, and eventually get a full-time coaching position. And I guess some of the previous coaches of note that actually participated in this were Hugh Jackson, Marvin Lewis, Anthony Lynn, and Mike Tomlin.
Wow.
So hopefully that ends up working out for her in a similar way. But when I first heard that she got the position, I knew exactly who she was based on the fact that she was on the commercial and she was an offensive assistant with the 49ers for the last 2 years. So I just thought that was really cool, and I hope things work out for her with the Chiefs. And it's really awesome to see that she actually gets to come back closer to home.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Brian, Heston's the 3A state champion basketball reigning, right?
Yeah. Is it Heston?
Because your nephew Jace also made it to the basketball
Final Four in 3A basketball. Yeah, it was Heston. They lost to Heston. And I remember he was checking in on the game, and then one of the players in Heston's like, "Oh, we never shot this well like all season, so we're really lucky right now." And he was like, "God damn it."
Like, don't say that.
Like you come to party, you come to play this game, but yeah, they should have won that game. There's a lot of mistakes, but is what it is. And congratulations to the new coach for the Chiefs there. So awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I don't have anything major this week. If you're not watching the NHL and NBA playoffs, you should be. They're fascinating. You got a lot of good storylines and everything.
Yeah, which the Celtics are up on the Nets right now, which
are they really
pretty cool. Yeah.
I don't believe that's going to be how that game ends, but that's neither here nor there. But no, I mean, living here in Milwaukee, this is kind of feeling like the year the Bucks go to the finals for me. I'm really kind of feeling that there's this whole idea that they're gonna walk into a buzzsaw that's the Brooklyn Nets in the second round, and I don't know that I believe that. I really don't. I just think that they've spent
Dante defensive Chenzo actually just went down with a foot injury, so hopefully
Yeah,
that doesn't
I saw that, but
hurt them too much. But yeah,
you know, Chris Middleton's still playing out of his mind.
Mhm.
Giannis is still Giannis, and
Yep.
you've got Drew Holiday playing really well as well. I'm personally rooting for a matchup of the three C's. I would love to see the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokovic and
yeah,
company make it there. I'd feel really confident if Jamal Murray was still playing. And I am kind of outing myself. I really, really like the Denver Nuggets. I really like the Colorado Avalanche. So I have some very strong Denver area sports sympathies. Absolutely hate the Broncos, but you know, also rooting for the Avalanche. They won the President's Trophy for the first time in really, really long time, and I'm starting to get the vibe that there could be another Stanley Cup being raised in that arena, in the ball arena. And I just remember going to the Pepsi Center a ton when I used to live out there to see Nuggets and Avalanche games, and it was just a great atmosphere. So I'm rooting for the Nuggets, rooting for the Avs, and rooting for the Broncos to never go above 500 again.
All right. I like those numbers. I like it.
yeah.
All right. Well, anything else, guys?
No,
I can't think of anything, and that's a good. Feel good about this
right.
episode. It's a good episode. I like
me
it.
too.
Feel good too. Yeah. Good night, Chiefs Kingdom.
Chiefs.
Peace.